Welcome to Nerd on Nerd with me, Jack Kempster.
And me, Liam Underwood. And in this episode, we're going to be talking about a film called Before Sunrise. But before we get to that, it's time for catching up with Jack and Liam. Now, listeners, we've got to let you in on a little behind-the-scenes thing here. We recorded the last episode quite late, as you're probably aware, because you were probably sat around waiting impatiently for it. This episode we're recording on time for once, which is actually quite unusual for us. But it does mean there's only been about 4 days between our last recording session and this one.
Yep.
So that's 4 days of catching up with. That's not our usual, is it?
No, we don't, and already, if you look at the episodes, it's a real struggle for us to figure out what we've done over 2 weeks. So imagine trying to figure out what the fuck we've done over 4 days.
But to be fair, some of that is like me thinking back, being like, oh, I don't remember that far back 2 weeks ago.
I don't think we do much.
What?
I don't think we're doing anything, Liam. I think we need to start doing more.
What would you like to start doing?
No, nothing, not stuff together. I'm not saying
What?
it's
Why
like a
not?
thing. Well, we can if you want, but we live quite far away from each other. If you want to do stuff, Liam,
Yeah.
we can start doing more stuff together, but we live very far away from each other,
Yeah.
so it would be a nightmare.
Well, would it though?
Why? Yeah.
It depends what we're doing together.
When would we do stuff?
On the weekend.
What do you want to do?
Activities.
Like what?
Whatever. Maybe, here we go. Maybe our listeners could suggest things that they'd like us to do and talk about.
Okay, well, it's your job to get the listeners to actually tell us that.
Oh, that's a nightmare. The listeners don't like talking to us. It's like, it very much feels like the kind of, I think, ideal for this podcast is a massive group conversation where we're obviously like, leading the way, but then other
we're like
people
the
can
kings
chime
of
in.
Nerd on Nerd.
I mean, I wouldn't use those terms exactly.
Dukes?
But, like conversation starters, I'd say, are what we are. We start the conversation, but we want our listeners to like chime in, direct the conversation where they find it interesting. Just get involved, basically. But no, it is literally just me talking to you, and there's just people that happen to listen. But I don't know why, like, it's a bit creepy when you think about it, that our listeners just sort of quietly sit there, in I imagine, in the dark, just listening to us and not joining in.
So, Liam, what have you been up to in the past 4 days?
It was Mother's Day.
Yes, it was. Did your mum like your gift of, I can't remember what you said it was?
I didn't get her anything. Well, I got her a card.
Oh, that's right, sorry. Now it seems like I did that on purpose to make you look bad, but I genuinely couldn't remember
No, it's not.
if you had got her anything.
Here's the thing, I got her a card, and we were going to go to some skiing shops, if you remember, to look at some...
Oh, yeah, you were going to buy her gloves.
Or something. Is she being... The shop that she wanted to go to was shut.
Okay.
So instead, I treated her to a nice Thai meal.
Did she like that?
Yeah, I think so.
Is she a fan of Thai food?
Yeah, she's been to Thailand. And, she was a bit like, oh, I think you're all doing a bit too much, because I got like a starter.
I've seen what you order from Thai food restaurants, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we had like a nice aromatic crispy duck starter with the pancakes.
As a starter?
Yeah. That was lovely. Absolutely lovely. And then, see, this is really easy to remember because it was just yesterday. Then we got chicken pad thai, a red duck curry, a lamb curry, and sticky rice. And that was like to share between us.
Yeah, that's too much.
It was lovely though.
Yeah.
It was really yummy. So yeah, I think she liked it. And obviously, she got to spend time with me. So that's a gift that just keeps giving.
Oh yeah, I get to experience it once every 2 weeks, and it's just, I love it.
So do our listeners.
Did you play her the Mother's Day special?
She weren't interested, Jack.
No.
No. Was yours?
I didn't mention it.
Why not?
I forgot that we did a Mother's Day special.
Wow. Because
I'm not great with memory, Liam.
I'm going to be honest. I did a tweet about that.
I saw the if your son hasn't shown your mum. If you're a mum and your child hasn't shown you or played you the podcast, it means they don't love you, I believe was sort of the vague tweet, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was quite pleased with that
But you didn't
tweet.
play your mum it either.
She wasn't interested.
Yeah.
I'm not going to force her to listen to it.
Right, well, if you're saying... I mean, you fall into the category, Liam, of sons that haven't played it to their mums yet.
Yeah, that's true.
So what we've decided, after our Mother's Day special, this special's less mum friendly, we've decided apparently we don't love our mums.
Well, no, I don't think that's what we've decided. That's just kind of what's happened. But look, at the end of the day, it's there. If she wants to listen to it, I'm sure she could find it. She knows, probably, to go on YouTube and search Nerd on Nerd Fleshlight.
I would love you to have to tell your mum how to get to it.
Yep.
Through YouTube.
Yep. But, yeah, so it was really sunny, was the surprising thing, because obviously...
Yeah. Yesterday was really nice.
Yeah, and we've had daylight savings time now.
Yeah,
so we lost an hour.
Confusing.
Yeah. But, yeah, basically, that was what I've been up to. Look, I mean, also, I have just, again, been on the phone to my internet service provider a lot, because I still don't have internet.
Yeah, how long was the call the other day?
Hour and a half.
What did they say? I'm very confused. How did it last an hour and a half? What was happening?
It was me trying to get a straight answer on how long it would take to fix and what the exact problem is, and if there was any temporary measure they could put in place, so I would have some sort of internet access in the time being.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting for a call back from them to discuss them potentially sending out a dongle as a temporary measure.
Yeah, I mean, that should have been the first thing they did.
Oh, yeah, obviously. Yeah. That callback, I was told, would happen in the next 3 working days. So...
Wonderful.
Real high priority, speedy service there.
I mean, you know what the worst thing about that is, Liam?
Yeah.
If they call you back in those 3 days and say, we're sending you a dongle...
Yeah.
Right? That means that they have decided the internet is not getting fixed long enough that a 3-day wait for a dongle is fine.
Yeah, I know.
So, we're talking, this could be the rest of your life, Liam.
Yeah. Ever since moving, it just feels like we've been cursed, because everything just keeps being annoying. So, who knows? Maybe we'll end up moving again, and we'll move closer to that London, and you can stop whinging about how far away I am. Yep,
that'd be nice.
So, yeah, beside kind of spending what feels like most of my life talking to BT... Oh, I'll tell you one thing that was fun.
Yeah?
Ish. Because, obviously without the internet, there's little point being in the house at the moment. Myself and Kat have been going out to eat a lot.
Okay.
And, it's dawning on me now that I set this up as quite a fun story, and it isn't.
Yep.
Basically...
Keep going.
I'll give you the gist of the story.
Okay.
I went to an Italian place, asked the waiter what I should have, out of 2 options that I narrowed it down to. He said the sea bass, so I had the sea bass, and it was nice.
You not having internet is changing you, Liam, and I don't like what you're becoming.
What's it changing me?
Well, the fact that you thought that was a fun story.
Honestly,
you're becoming an old person, Liam.
Yeah, this is why old people are the way they are, because they don't have the internet.
They don't understand the internet, so they have to make choosing between 2 items, having the sea bass and thinking it was nice. To them, that is fun.
Yeah, I know. It's awful, Jack.
Yeah, I'm scared for you now.
I'll tell you what. Here's something that we can talk about.
Go on.
So. We spoke a while back about, it's one of my favourite episodes, about me starting D&D at my local comic book shop.
Yep.
Right, we've kind of reached, a pause in the campaign at the moment. The DM wants to take some time off from this campaign to kind of plan where he wants it to go next.
Okay.
Which is, great. I'm excited to see what he comes up with, and I'm pleased that he's not just, making it up on the spot. He wants to put a plan in place.
Yeah.
Because, it has so far been quite, well plotted and very interesting. Yeah. So, and if he's getting kind of worn out with it or whatever, or, bored of it, I would rather he, takes a breath from it so he can come back kind of recharged. But in the meantime, we're doing Call of Cthulhu, but set in the Viking Ages.
Okay.
I know nothing about Vikings, Jack. Absolutely nothing. How
do you not know anything about Vikings? They're one of the coolest, historical figures.
Well, I just don't really know anything about them. I know they
sailed around
boats.
In boats. They had axes.
Yeah, and they raped and pillaged.
And they got angry a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've got it down. That's pretty much Vikings.
Yeah, but then he's saying things like, yeah, you need a Viking name, so I couldn't be called... what was it that I wanted to be called? I can't remember. I wasn't allowed the name I wanted.
Was it something regular, like David?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why. It's not the most Viking name, is it?
Well, I think it was John or something.
we were raped and pillaged by Jarl John.
Yeah. Better than, like, Svengorio.
Well, no, Sven is like a very Scandinavian name.
I don't. So now I've got one guy called Knutson. It's Nut is spelled Knut.
Is that Knutson or just Knutson?
Knutson. So his
Very
first
good,
name's
right.
Nut, and his last name's Knutson, as in son of Nut.
Yeah, got you.
And I can't remember what the
Nut,
other guy's
son
called.
of Nut. Very good.
Yeah. The other
And
guy...
wait, you have two... Oh, because you've got the fallback characters, yeah.
Yeah, we have A characters and B characters, so...
Yeah.
Yeah. Can't remember the other guy, but I know that he is a fisherman.
Like the most Viking of professions.
Is it not?
No.
Right, sorry. What do
The
Vikings
rapers
eat?
and pillagers were the, like, Viking profession. That was, like, the main one that everyone was cool about.
Yeah,
if you're a
but-
fisherman, I don't think the other men in the tribe would be like, what a cool dude that guy is.
Yeah.
Nutson's mate, Steve,
Equally, I
the
don't
fisherman,
think... I don't think you can
son
have,
of
like,
John.
rapist as a profession.
No, Raider. Just Raider.
Raider. That just, to me, seems a bit silly.
I mean, that's what they sort of did.
Well, maybe...
So when you say silly, what you mean is the thing that gave Vikings their whole, like... fictitious, everyone-loving Vikings is because they were raiders.
Maybe this fisherman will have quite the path ahead of him, and he'll, get corrupted. I don't know. I'm just excited to
I'd like
see.
to point out, I'm being very negative to you, but I actually quite like the sound of a Viking-era Cthulhu story. That's quite cool.
Well, the thing that's kind of most disappointing is we were doing on a different day. We was doing a Call of Cthulhu campaign, and he's had to stop it because he couldn't get enough other people into the shop to play other games to warrant keeping the shop open.
Got you.
And this was a really fun Call of Cthulhu. It was set in not Victorian, Sherlock Holmes era.
Is that not Victorian?
Is it?
Or,
It was on the Orient Express. So whenever that was knocking around,
Yeah.
and it was so much fun. I was absolutely loving it. It's a shame that we've had to put that on pause, but it was. So I'm excited to Cthulhu. I think has a lot of pluses over D&D in that with D&D. I don't know if you've noticed this when you've been playing it, but the combat, there's an element of strategy to it, but it can become, I'm going to do this next turn, I'm doing that again, and a bit repetitive, I guess.
Yeah, but that's on you or the DM, I guess.
Yeah, potentially. But what I'm saying is
because the whole point of these like tabletop games and things like D&D are it's not meant to be. I think the issue some people have with it is when they're playing it like these are the rules, this is what we do, this is how you attack. Whereas I think the way to do combat and stuff is the player goes, well, I'm going to do this move and or I'm going to try and do this, and then the DM has to go, okay, well that sounds to me like you'd be doing a strength check or just a regular attack roll or stuff like that.
Yeah, I get that, but
so if you're like, oh, I'm going to swing at the legs, and then the DM's like, yeah, you get a bonus, and then you're like, well, I'm always just going to swing at the legs, then you're doing it wrong.
But equally, it's alright, so if I'm a magic user and I'm up against an ice thing, I'm obviously going to cast Firebolt, right?
Yeah, but how often were your spells getting refreshed and stuff? Because the whole, again, magic users, the whole thing is you're conserving your spells.
I don't know. Anyway, my point is with Cthulhu, it's a lot less combat focused, and it's a lot more trying to actually think your way out of situations.
Yeah,
which I prefer. I think with D&D,
but then you can do that with D&D. I think that's
you can.
That was,
but I think while you can do it, if you're with a group, right, and the group all want to go fighting, and you're like, well, let's just sit back and try and think our way out.
All I'm trying to say is that's not the game's fault. I get it. Just annoys me when you make sweeping statements like Call of Cthulhu is better than D&D because of this, and then the answer is, well, it sounds to me like your Call of Cthulhu game is better than your D&D game because your D&D game sounds like it wasn't as fun for you, which is fine.
I'm not saying it's better. I'm just saying these are some preferences I have.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying it doesn't sound to me like it's the game itself. It sounds like it's specifically the people you're playing with and the play style that people you're playing with have.
That's possible, yeah. But so I'm
that's what I'm
excited
saying.
To see what Cthulhu's like, because I got into a fist fight in a bar in the last Cthulhu campaign, and it nearly killed me, and that was just with a normal patron of the bar. So, I mean, if we have people in the group that are very much combat thirsty and they go charging in, they're gonna die.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. I'm excited to. The thing is, what I like about my DM is he likes to put a mystery in place, and you have to figure it out. But they'll be it's very Lost, where you have one main mystery and then 8 little mysteries attached to it.
Got you.
So I'm excited to see what sort of Viking mystery he comes up with. But
Where
anyway,
did Knutson get all his fish from? Probably that fisherman Steve.
yeah, Fisherman Steve. The thing is, Vikings need to eat, Jack.
Yeah.
And they
did fishing.
yeah, there you go then.
And they had farmers and stuff.
Yeah.
It's still the most boring fucking thing you could pick if someone says to you, make a Viking character.
I think this is where we differ, though, because I don't want to be like the big hero that solves the day
I don't want to be the big hero. The big hero is the boring one.
Who would you be then?
In Viking Call of Cthulhu,
Yeah.
I'd be Knutson, son of a fisherman. Born on the boats, they'd say, about old Knutson.
Knutson is there's a word for it's something like a skull or a skull.
Yeah, skull.
Do you know what that is?
It's like, yeah, they were in Skyrim.
Do you know what they do?
Isn't it like it's like a bodyguard assigned to a jarl?
No.
Is it just a warrior?
No, this guy, from what I've been told, this guy's like the town elder. So when something like really cool happens, he's the guy that will like write it down and keep a record of the tribe's history.
Is that right? Maybe.
Which I think is kind of, interesting.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know, Jack. All right, I just hope it's
I'm not
fun.
complaining about your characters, except for the fisherman.
There's nothing wrong with being a fisherman.
There's not.
But
Nothing.
okay. So yeah, I don't really have a lot else. I mean, I'm going to be honest. This is probably our most boring catching up with so far because I've really had to reach for that.
Well, I haven't said what I fucking did, Liam.
Wow me, Jack. Wow me with your interesting tales.
I got my mum a bottle of Prosecco.
Did she like that?
Yep.
Did she get tipsy?
No, because my grandparents came round as well.
What are your grandparents like?
Nice.
No, but like, describe them to me.
Grandparents?
What were their professions?
My granddad was an architect, and my nan used to be a secretary, but then I think she was like a stay-at-home wife after that.
That's pretty cool.
But the stay-at-home wife.
More the architect, but
yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to like dish your nan.
Stuff.
What side of your dad's side or your mum's side?
My mum's side.
Your mum's side. That's good.
Yeah. Anyway, Liam, the better thing that I got my mum, the best thing,
yeah,
was I have a tradition of buying people incorrect cards.
Yeah.
It's my favourite thing to do.
Yeah.
So I bought my mum I couldn't find any good, I was like, what's a good, it's Mother's Day, but I've got it wrong. The obvious one's Father's Day, but I've done that before.
Yeah.
You've got to keep it interesting, Liam. You can't give them the same thing every year.
No.
So me and my dad spotted those big cards you can get?
Yeah.
Like big ones. It was only £3, which is like dirt cheap for one of them.
Well, that is a Billy bargain.
Yeah, so I bought one of them.
Yeah.
And I wrote in it in my small handwriting, just like it was a regular card. And I had a good old laugh when my mum opened it.
Wait, what was on it?
Just to mum from Jack, but written in regular sized handwriting inside the card.
But like, what was on the front of the card?
Oh, I don't know. It said like to mummy or something. It was the only one I could find.
So it's still Mother's Day?
Yeah, but it was a giant card that was inappropriate because it only had my writing in it.
Yeah.
And was just regular.
Yeah. I once got Kat one of those giant cards because she made the mistake of telling me that she always liked to keep hold of her cards. So
that's good, yeah.
I'd make it difficult for her.
Yeah.
I think you should have got like a happy anniversary to my wife sort of card for your mum.
Yeah, no, I'm alright, thanks.
What? You said you wanted something that would have been inappropriate?
Yeah, inappropriate in like... So my favourite one I've ever got someone is for my sister's 14th birthday, maybe. I got her a Happy Hanukkah card.
A what,
and she didn't know what Hanukkah... A Happy Hanukkah?
Oh, okay, yeah.
And she didn't know what Hanukkah was, so I got a call from my mum saying, thanks, Jack, I just had to spend Mole's birthday morning explaining what Hanukkah is.
It sounds like a fun birthday. At what point did your sister go, I don't care, stop explaining?
I don't know.
Because I would have guessed early.
I wasn't there. I think it was when I was at uni.
See, what you could have done, but I don't think you would have, is sometimes you get those like jokey, saucy cards where it's like a woman on the front who's particularly busty, and then you open it up and it's like, you're a little prick inside.
Oh yeah, those famous cards.
You should have got one of those. Yeah,
but I think the difference between me and you, Liam, is my sense of like... I don't know about comedy, because it's not, sending someone the wrong card isn't comedy.
No.
It's just a little joke.
Yeah.
But I guess I guess it's a little joke, so it's sense of humour. My sense of humour, Liam, goes beyond just the idea of sex, whereas your sense of humour, and I guess sense of self, sense of worth, sense of belonging, all of it is just sex. That's pretty much your mindset, is
Yeah.
sex.
Yeah.
It's like someone set you to sex and then just left it.
Yeah.
So I guess that's the key difference between me and you.
What's the problem with that?
Liam's been to the cinema this week. 4 days.
I went to cinema. Now it's time for Liam went to cinema. Now it's time for a spoiler-free review of the things that you saw at cinema. I only saw one thing, though, because it has only been 4 days.
Yep. What did you go and see, Liam?
I saw Life.
I am interested in this film because, sci-fi, alien. I'm all for
it's
that.
right. Honestly, Jack, right up your street. You'll fucking jizz over it.
Yeah, no, but I also like it to be at least semi-smart and not redundant. And I wasn't convinced by the trailer.
So here's the thing about it. It's an absolutely fine movie. Obviously, taking a lot of inspiration from Alien. The thing that I think makes it entertaining is the cast, because you've got predominantly Jake Gyllenhaal and Ryan Reynolds, who I don't know if you've been seeing their press for this film, but it's really interesting. I was reading an article last night about it, how they've done a lot of junkets and stuff, and like press junkets where it they cycle through interviewers and each interviewer gets 4 minutes to ask a couple of questions and then they're booted out and the next one's brought in.
Yeah.
Jake Gyllenhaal and Ryan Reynolds, in nearly all of their press junkets that I've seen at least, do not speak about the film. They'll speak about their bromance or the fun they had on set messing around, but they haven't really spoken about the film a lot. And
is that because the film isn't worth speaking about?
That's what I'm not sure, because there's really only so much you could actually say about this film without
that's
giving
what
it
I'm
away.
worried about, that it's just going to be the one note. Alien life on spaceship. Alien life turns out to be bad. They have to deal with alien life.
Yeah, it is very predictable in that sort of way. But that's not necessarily a bad thing, because it does everything absolutely fine. It doesn't really make any missteps. It doesn't do anything wrong. It just also doesn't surprise. You know me, I love a good surprise, and you don't get that. So I think as a modern day version of Alien for maybe the generation that are a bit oh no, anything before the 90s is old and I don't want to watch that, this works absolutely fine. For anyone who isn't a dick, you're not going to be surprised. You're going to know what it's drawing from, but it does it in a way that it's still a totally okay film. 3 out of 5.
I mean, yeah, fair enough.
Just perfect middle of the road.
Yeah.
The thing is, it starts with this very gravity-inspired one shot sort of thing. And you've got probably a good 5 minutes of this long one take going on as it's sort of floating through the spaceship and people are doing their space jobs and stuff.
Space jobs.
And
you.
At this point you're oh, this is kind of interesting. It's really stylish and I like what it's doing here. But then the title comes up and it just becomes bog standard. I would like to give one shout out to a guy, I might get his name wrong, but it's, I think, Ariyon Bakare, who's this British guy who's in it. I haven't really seen him in anything else before, but he was really good.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I think you would enjoy it. You're not going to be oh, that was the best movie ever, but it's going to tick the boxes that you like to have ticked.
You are aware that you made up those boxes, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I just want to clarify that you invented this idea that I only like films with aliens in it.
Yeah, I mean, space and aliens.
Because I also like fantasy films.
Huh?
I also like fantasy films, Liam.
I know you do, Jack. I know you do.
There's two boxes that can be ticked.
The thing about this podcast is I'm learning all the things you like and, unfortunately, a lot of the things you don't like.
Yeah, I mean, I'm having the same experience, except so far I'm discovering nothing that you like except mumblecore and sort of shit movies. And I'm finding all the stuff you don't like, which is the rest of creation.
You found one thing I don't like, and that's manga so far. And that's only because you've recommended terrible manga examples. That's not even manga, sorry. Anime.
It's anime.
Fuck me. String me up.
To be fair, you're being very defensive for someone that suggested an anime for us to watch, which was, from the literally one picture of it that you sent, just 3 high school girls.
When was that?
You said to me, I found that anime that I used to love as a kid. I can't remember what it was called.
Sorry, whoa, back up. I did not used to love it. It's the only anime I've watched. I didn't love it.
I think you did.
Honestly, it was awful, and that's what put me off of it for so long. So I was hoping that you'd be able to swing me back. This is totally irrelevant to life. 3 out of 5, Jack.
Yeah, very good.
Now, I've heard on the old grapevine that I wasn't the only one that went to the cinema this weekend.
Nope, I also went to the cinema, Liam.
What did you go see?
I went and saw Beauty and the Beast.
Can you say it like how they say it?
Beauty and the Beast.
Thank you.
No problem. It's really good, Liam.
Here's the thing. I haven't seen it. Otherwise, I would have spoken about it.
Yep, obviously.
How does it compare to Jungle Book? Because I thought they did such a good job with that.
Yeah. So I enjoyed Jungle Book.
Yeah.
Thought it was really good.
Yeah.
I did. Because there were some songs that got cut from Jungle Book, or that were changed in such a way that I didn't like them as much.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, I've come out of Beauty and the Beast, and for the last 3 days, I've listened to the soundtrack at least once a day.
Now, is that the soundtrack of the original film, or the soundtrack of this
film?
Okay.
I'll admit, there's only about 3 songs that I love.
Is Gaston one of them?
Obviously.
Did you see the Deadpool parody thing that someone did of that?
Oh, no.
Okay.
I'll have to hunt that down later.
Yeah.
But, like, it's genuinely good. Like, they add some bits to the story. They, like... Because I don't really remember, the details of the old Beauty and the Beast. Like, I remember the story, but not the details. Yeah,
like, I've definitely seen it, but I don't remember a lot of it.
Yeah. But in this one, they, like, sort of not clarify when it's set, but it's more obvious when it is. Or, like, Gaston's used to be a captain in the army and talks about that. So you sort of get an idea. I don't know, it was just cool having it a bit more fleshed out and being like, this is when this film is.
Yeah, I
do you know what I mean?
Like, backstory, essentially.
Yeah. Not like a load. It wasn't like... Yeah. They didn't add, an hour of...
But it helped, like, contextualise stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, got you. Okay,
and there are some jokes in there that kids wouldn't get, which is always good.
The thing that I think I was most... concerned is the wrong word, but, like, apprehensive about is Emma Watson.
She's fine in it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Good little singer?
Yeah, I think they auto-tuned a lot of the actors.
Okay.
Because annoyingly, that's one of the complaints I had with it, is the guy... I can't remember who the guy that played the Beast was.
Daniel Stevens, is it?
Something like
Dan
that, maybe.
Stevens?
I mean, to be fair, you don't see his face for most of the film because, he's a giant fucking beast.
But to be fair, also, he is in some great films that you should watch.
Okay, well, we're not talking about that. We're talking about Beauty and the Beast, Liam.
It's Dan Stevens.
Okay, very good.
Thanks.
Anyway, there's because obviously the Beast's voice is deeper.
Yes.
Than a normal human's. It's all like, I'm the Beast and I'm angry.
Is that what it's like?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
And there's like this song that he sings, and for the whole song, it was, when auto-tuning is too obvious?
Yeah.
It was like that. And I think it might not even have been properly auto-tuned. It might have been that because they had to, like, pitch shift his voice downwards, it just sounds a bit computery.
Yeah.
But you could definitely hear it, and it really... I can't remember what song it is, but if you saw the film, you'd be like, oh, it's that song.
Yeah. Would you... The kind of... And I don't know if you'll be able to answer this, but one of the comments... It wasn't a criticism. This person was actually talking, like, favourably about it. But one of the comments I saw on Twitter about the film is that it is... very, very similar to the original.
Yeah.
Which they were saying, like, why is that an issue? And in my head, I'm like, well, if you're going to essentially make the same film as the original, why bother? Just watch the original.
Well, my argument for why they should, why you then wouldn't go and watch the original is that this is live action, so it's done through a different lens, effectively.
Okay. And
it's just a different way of experiencing the film. Like, the story's similar, but then, like I said, they've added stuff and things are different.
So would you say you preferred this version to your memories of the original?
Probably, yeah. I mean, if I went back and watched the original, it would be interesting to see which one I thought was better.
Yeah.
But I'll be honest, I don't have... I'm finishing my week off of work, Liam, and I'm probably not going to have time to sit down and watch Beauty and the Beast.
You've got evenings, mate.
I've got stuff to do in them.
Like?
Well, I'll move on to that, Liam, once I've rated.
Yeah, you got to rate Beauty and the Beast out of 5. Come on.
I think 4 out of 5. I might be being a bit too generous. I don't think other people will rate it that highly.
What would you think I would rate it?
I think you'd give it... I don't know, because you're a difficult one with things like this.
I did give Jungle Book 4 out of 5.
I think you might go 3.5 or 4.
Okay, fair enough. That's good. I was hoping to go to cinema to see it, but there's a lot that's come out this week that I would rather go and see. Like Power Rangers, I'm kind of keen to see.
Yeah, I'd like to go see that.
Chips as well. I don't think it'll be great, but
no,
I think it'll be fun.
I don't know. I'm not convinced by that one.
No, and then soon we'll have even more films come out. That's the thing about films; they keep coming out.
Yeah, it's weird that.
Yeah, but the thing is, like this like film year particularly, it feels like almost every weekend has a big release out that I want to go and see.
I don't pay enough attention, so I don't know when's Wonder Woman come out.
Oh, I want to say April or May, but like in the next couple of months. Then We've
enough.
also got Fate of the Furious coming out soon.
Oh, I haven't watched the rest.
What?
You're aware of this? I've mentioned this before.
Was I annoyed at you?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I still am.
I'm pretty positive you reviewed Fast and Furious 7 on this podcast, and I said I hadn't watched the
That
others.
would have been like over a year ago now.
Yeah.
That's a long time for me to remember. Anyway, so yeah, that was cinema stuff, yeah?
Yeah.
Very good.
But I've done other stuff, Liam.
What else have you done?
Liam, this week I've done things, and this is that thing that I have done. And that thing is, by week, I mean 4 days.
Yeah.
I mean, usually it would be 2 weeks, so saying a week is weird. We have this problem where we say a week, and we've never done this as a weekly show, so I don't know why we say it.
But when we do start doing it as a weekly show, we don't have to adjust what we say.
People will go back and they'll be like, yeah, it makes sense.
Exactly. They were ahead of the curve. They were futurists.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I bought, Liam, Mass Effect Andromeda.
Here we go. All right.
Why?
Okay.
Why are you so... You haven't even played the old Mass Effects.
Yep.
So you don't... How can you have an opinion?
I'm annoyed.
No, I'm not saying don't have an opinion. I just mean, how have you founded this opinion?
I'm annoyed,
that you're
Jack.
saying?
I'm really annoyed.
Why?
Because they haven't released the old Mass Effects for me to catch up, and now everyone's talking about this game, and I'm like, well, I can't join in that conversation because you.
Well, that's not my
dickhead.
fault that you were an idiot and missed 3 of the best games of our lifetime.
Right. I'm not saying it's your fault, but the other thing is,
Thank you.
genuinely, knowing the way I am about games, and like how I don't like games like Skyrim, and how issues I have with big games. Do you think I'd like Mass Effect?
Wait, what are your issues with big games, usually? Boil it down for me.
I don't like the huge games. I absolutely hate games like Skyrim, where the characters just look, to me, shit.
Well, that's fine. That's not an issue.
And I don't like it when there's so much to do that you don't really know where to start. And
there's a lot to do.
Yeah.
But it's very much like, here are the missions, go do them.
What's the other big example? You've got Skyrim, and there's another example that I'm blanking on. That is like
Witcher 3?
No, there's another one that's in that realm.
Fallout?
Fallout is the one. I couldn't stand Fallout either.
Well, it sounds like you don't like Bethesda games, which is fine, because this isn't Bethesda.
Yeah, but is it in that kind of category?
It depends what you mean. I don't like... Because what you've just done there is give the examples of Skyrim and Fallout, which are two, they're set in totally different genres, so that defines to me that you're not saying genre, you're saying free roaming, maybe, but you like GTA, so it's not free roaming. It was alright. You're not talking about a free roaming game.
No.
So I don't know what the fuck you mean by is it in that category.
Like a free roaming RPG.
It's not first person, it is an RPG.
Yeah.
It's not really free roaming.
Is it more in line with Witcher than the other two examples?
No, it's totally different.
Give me what's it like? Compare it to something.
It's like Mass Effect.
Right, that doesn't help though, does it?
No, it doesn't. But Liam, you don't play enough fucking games for me to say what it's like.
Yeah, but you might...
I've not really played Uncharted, so it could be like Uncharted, but set in space. I don't know.
I doubt it. Uncharted's brilliant.
So is Mass Effect. Mass Effect, the Mass Effect trilogy is genuinely probably my favourite game of all time.
Why haven't they released it?
And that's right. I said a trilogy is my favourite game of all time. Deal with it, listeners.
And this is the fourth one then, yeah?
Well, no, it's separate.
Okay.
It's part of that universe, hence the Mass Effect.
Yeah,
but they've basically... People that played the first... I'm not going to say any spoilers, Liam, because I know you do want to play them.
I do. If they release them, I would play them.
I think they are, aren't they? I'm sure I heard that they were going to do like a HD re-release.
I don't have the internet, so I don't know. They might have announced
I'm not going to look it up. We'll find out later.
Yeah.
Anyway, like, people that have played them know that there was like a definite end to that trilogy.
I remember there was a lot of controversy around that as well.
Yeah, I didn't agree as much with the trilogy, with the argument people had and why they didn't like it. I think it was more like I get why people were annoyed. Basically, the whole issue was that people hated the fact that you'd had these 3 games where you were making all these choices.
Yeah.
And the actual ending, specifically the end, it was effectively 3 choices where it was like, which ending do you want, right?
So it kind of felt like all the choices you made previously were a bit redundant.
That's what people said.
Yeah.
But I disagree entirely with the fact that the choices you make in the Mass Effect games hugely impact the world. Like, there are whole races that are changed by stuff you do.
Alright, can I ask you...
And you can, like, do it...
This is something that I don't know if you're going to have the answer to specifically.
Okay.
But you might. Are there missable trophies?
I haven't looked it up. I was thinking about looking it up for you, but I'm too engrossed in the game. Like, every time I have it on... I can't leave and be like, I'm going to look at the trophy menu. I'm just like, fucking, let's play this game.
Alright, because if there's missable trophies, I'm out.
That's fine. I don't care. Anyway, So, like, this, to me, this new game...
Yeah, Andromeda?
Andromeda. It feels very Mass Effect-y, which is good.
Well, you would hope so.
Yeah, it's a cool new... It's a good way of them continuing the story without having to worry about... Because obviously it would be difficult for them to make a game and be like, you've played 3 other games. Tell us exactly how you played them so we can make sure that this universe fits your universe correctly.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, the only bit you pick to have any impact is it says there's an option for what something history, and it was you pick what gender the Commander Shepard you played was. It just says, like, what gender was Commander Shepard. And I think that's because, people bring him up in conversation occasionally.
Right, okay. Or her.
Mine was a he.
Yeah, but if you'd have chosen a her...
Yeah, that's what I meant by pick gender, Liam.
Yeah.
Idiot. But yeah, honestly, I really like it. I think it's really good.
So, what's the actual, gameplay?
It's about 50-50 on some missions. You'll be going down to a planet, and then you'll be doing the missions on that planet and shooting, and it's like a third-person shooter.
Okay.
With RPG elements in that you level up and make your skills better and stuff.
Yeah.
And you can get new armor and new weapons and all that sort of jazz. Regular RPG stuff.
Yeah.
But then the other half is, like, you can do missions that are solely based on this space station called the Nexus, which is like, when you're on it, you're wearing your casual clothes, you don't have any weapons or armor.
Yeah.
So there's no combat. You're literally walking around the station talking to people, and it uses those branching storyline, like, conversations and stuff to actually... Yeah. You like, whole missions won't take place anywhere except on there, and I love that stuff.
Okay.
Like, yesterday I spent, I think, 2 hours just on that station finishing up a bunch of missions and having the best time, like, loving it.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
So if we consider this as like a first impressions review, what would you at this stage give it out of 5?
4 out of 5.
And how does that compare to the last 3 games?
They'd probably be 5s. Not all of them. I can't separate them particularly in my head.
But do you anticipate that once you complete this one, the score might bump up?
Yeah, potentially. I want to see how good the story gets.
Yeah, okay.
Because it's good. I'm loving the story at the moment, but I'm aware that there could be pitfalls up ahead where they make some decision, and I'm just like, oh well.
And this is why we'll say first impressions.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But so far I'm really loving it. And if people like the old Mass Effect games, I think they should give this one a chance.
How does it compare to, like, on the last episode you speaking a lot about Zelda? How does it compare to that?
Totally different games, different play styles.
How like if you only could play one, what would you play?
Mass Effect.
Okay, is that it for catching up with?
Yep, that's it. Housekeeping.
What's been happening on the social medias, Jack? Have we been having lots of
Liam,
people talking to us?
Oh yeah, we've got tons. I've got just hundreds of notifications pouring in, Liam. Let me just filter through them. We've got Tom Hogan, friend of the show, who sent us a tweet about how he felt really good when our new episode went up, even though it was a week late.
I don't recall seeing that.
Yeah, well, it's up there. It was posted 3 hours ago, Liam.
Oh, I might have missed it.
But then he did also respond to himself, potentially, or just tweet at us, that in the last episode, I apparently missed a swear word, and that did not get bleeped. So, listeners, I apologise.
Oh, I see these tweets now. I missed them.
It turns out, Liam,
yeah, that
it's quite hard to catch all the swear words.
And we were actually trying to not swear.
Oh, we were not. Oh. We were actively trying, but you're the best. It's great because, like, I know that there was some that you caught. Like, there'd be one where you'd swear and then you go, "Oh, sorry, I swore." But when I was going through and doing all the bleeps, there's this whole bit at the beginning where you've said, I'm not going to swear, because I was like, oh, it's going to be a real struggle. And you're like, no, I'm not going to. I'm going to be fine. And, like, within 10 minutes, you were swearing. But no, neither of us were catching them. And it was great. You'd just be like, yeah, fucking hell. And it was great.
I actually think, without trying, we've done better this episode for not swearing than we did that one.
No, I've sworn quite a lot this episode, I think.
Oh.
I think I swear more than you, which is why it was so shocking last episode when I ended up bleeping you a lot at the beginning. But then I redeemed myself later on by swearing a lot.
And also, bear in mind, I did have that very stressful week, which brought on a lot of swearing, I imagine.
Yeah, true.
Do we have any emails?
Nope, no emails, and those were the only notifications that I could find.
Awesome. I mean, it's only been 4 days.
That's true. It's true.
And the episode's only been online, like, 2 days.
Yes, so, if you do want to talk to us about Before Sunrise, you've missed your chance.
No, that's what housekeeping is all about.
No, let us know and we'll tell you.
It's literally the entire point of housekeeping.
I was joking, Liam. If they want to talk to us about Before Sunrise, they still can.
Yeah. Have you been doing any of the things?
Nope.
I have.
What have you been doing, Liam?
I've only been playing Witcher 3, haven't I?
I'm cutting it out, so there you go. Move on to the next one.
You said I'm allowed to say if I've been playing it or not.
No, I didn't. You said that.
Yeah.
And I told you no.
No, you didn't. You said I can say I've played it as long as I can't talk in detail about it.
Okay, so I'll leave in the bit where you said I've been playing Witcher 3.
Yeah.
So move on to the next one.
Yeah. And
yeah,
as well as playing The Witcher 3 and getting some trophies in it,
you're only getting you get them one mention.
And I started reading the 3rd volume of Berserk.
Okay, how's that?
More of the same so far. I've only
Correct
read
me if I'm wrong. Sorry, I just interrupted you really obviously there. I don't know why.
That's all right. The thing is, it's split into like 4 stories.
Which is more than the other 2 volumes were, wasn't it? They were 3 each.
Yeah, I've only read the first story so far, but it is just like it wraps up the cliffhanger that the last one ended on, and it is just...
Yes, that's what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
Did they deal with the cliffhanger?
Yeah, that's all wrapped up, and now we've got a new cliffhanger to lead us into the next story. Because basically, what we've been reading so far is like a storyline titled "The Guardians of Desire."
Okay.
Because we read up to chapter 3, and then volume 3 contains chapters 4 to 6, and then it ends with a new storyline, like a new story arc, I'm guessing, called The Golden Age. Okay. So I'm curious to see how obvious there is a shift between the storylines.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it's just more of the same.
I mean, that's not... I don't remember... We didn't hate Berserk, did we? But
no, we thought
very
it was alright. I was expecting more
it's still just alright.
Yeah, like, so when I first became aware of it, it was from like a Reddit post that was like, this is one of the most messed up like things I've ever read.
Yeah.
And so far, Berserk hasn't delivered on that.
Well, we've sort of ruined messed up stuff for ourselves, Liam.
Have we?
We've both read The Crossed.
That's true. I actually
nothing will ever compare, I don't think, to The Crossed.
It's just
in terms of messed upness.
There's no there.
Alright, fuck off.
I actually read another volume of that this in the last few days since we recorded last.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I read volume 5.
Oh, okay.
Have you read that one?
Good? I don't think so.
It is actually. I quite liked it. It was 2 different stories in one volume. The first story was about the Crossed like breaking out at a fun fair, and then the second story was about a group of like screenwriters or something who get invited to this like crazy successful guy's house, and he assigns them all characters, and they're not allowed to break character for a week or however long they're there for, and they're not allowed like any outside communication and stuff. And it's about it's sort of about him trying to break down like the main character in that house, and then also all the cross stuff going on outside.
Yep, got you.
But yeah, it was good. I still would say the second volume's the best one I've read so far.
Is that Family Values?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, that is. It's the best one, and also horribly fucked up.
Yeah, exactly. We haven't actually. I'm kind of doing like a housekeeping from the future here.
Okay.
But I read...
Future Liam has been...
I read Volume 5 of Sunstone, which is a thing that
so you haven't
doing...
So let me just clarify. You haven't read Volume 5 of Sunstone yet?
No, I have.
Wait, but then why is it from the future?
Wait, so this housekeeping bit is from the future because we haven't yet done Volume 1 of Sunstone as a culture swap, but we're intending to.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I thought you meant like... I was getting very confused. I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So this is like almost like imagine in the future when we do Volume 1.
Yeah, you have housekept.
Yeah,
housekept Volume 5.
Yeah,
from weeks earlier. Got you.
Yeah, which was really good. I absolutely love it. I think you'll hate it. I absolutely loved it.
Cool. You're making me so excited for the episode when we do Sunstone.
Well, Volume 1's very different to Volume 5, so I think you will like Volume 1.
But I wouldn't like where it goes later on.
Potentially, yeah.
Not enough aliens.
Not really any, I'm afraid.
Well,
culture swap?
Culture swap. Swap my culture. I don't know why I didn't respond with the correct response the first time there, Liam. I apologise.
Don't worry about it. What did we do, Jack?
Liam, this time we watched Before Sunrise. One of your favourite films?
It's up there.
Question mark?
It is up there, yeah.
We watched that.
Yeah.
Liam, do you want to give a brief sort of synopsis of what the film is?
Can I give the synopsis as if I'm you?
No, because I know what my synopsis would be, and it won't be helpful.
Yep.
Do your synopsis, and then you can do what you think my synopsis would be.
I have a better idea. I'll do the synopsis as you, and then you do the synopsis as me.
Okay, go on then. All right.
So this is the synopsis through the eyes of Jack. Oh, it's just 2 people we met on a train, innit? And then they walked around for a night.
That's pretty accurate.
There we go.
Okay, I'll do my synopsis as you, Liam.
Yeah.
Jack's right.
No, that's not what I would say.
Damn it. This film is about a young man on a train meeting a woman, and they fall madly in love, and it's a beautiful story of him growing and becoming an adult whilst also walking around Vienna for a night. I'll be honest, Liam, I didn't like the film, so I can't do a good synopsis.
I mean, it was closer, but
that's what I mean. I genuinely didn't care, I think, is the issue. So can you please tell me what yours... That's why I wanted you to say your synopsis.
All right.
Because I can't find
film,
a good story
here we go. This film is about watching two people fall in love, but not in a typical rom-com-y, they get into these hilarious situations and none of that typical standard rom-com bullshit. I would say it's a much more genuine, honest portrayal of just two people meeting and maybe not even necessarily falling in love, but falling for each other.
I got bored when you were saying that.
Well, this is going to be a fun culture swap for you then.
Yeah, basically what this felt like to me, Liam, was that you tricked me into watching a sort of mumblecore. It's not mumblecore, and I'll accept that. But what you did was you very carefully picked a film that uses the bits of mumblecore that I hate, and it uses them in a non-mumblecore way. So what effectively happened, Liam, is I came out of this film, and I was like, I didn't hate it as much as I hated mumblecore, but I didn't enjoy it.
I think I even mentioned in the last episode, there are traces of mumblecore in this. So this film came out before the mumblecore movement, so you could almost look at this as the granddaddy of mumblecore. Yeah,
so I don't know why you suggested it for me, really.
Because I thought, I know deep down. So you put out to this world this tough exterior,
I just said that I love Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, exactly.
So maybe not.
You're my name's Jack Kempster. I can make it on my own. I don't need no woman. And what I thought you might tap into with this film is the romantic honesty of it. And I genuinely...
No, because it's not romantically honest.
I genuinely thought...
You think that that's a true portrayal of two people falling in love, or falling for each other, meeting on a train, him literally within, 30 minutes being just come off the train with me, and a girl going, yeah, alright. That doesn't feel realistic to me.
I thought you would... I thought you would go one of either two ways. The way that you've clearly chosen to go, which is unfortunate.
I've not chosen! It's not an active choice! I genuinely sat down with you telling me this film was good, not thinking it was going to be a mumblecore-esque thing, and being I think I'm going to enjoy this film. Because from your descriptions of it before, it sounded really interesting.
How did I describe it before?
The fact that you had said... It was basically the fact that you said that there was this 9-year gap in between the three films.
Well, yeah, but so you'd need to...
No. So that made me then interested, because I was like, oh, okay, well that means that the film director and stuff really care about this film and have made this real effort.
Yeah.
Instead of just being pushed by a studio and being fine, we'll release another film in 2 years. They really care.
Yeah.
So then that makes me interested, because I'm like, oh, this is something that people really liked making, wanted to make more of.
Yeah.
But it's clearly
passion
not for
project.
Me. Yeah, but it's clearly I don't share their passion.
Yeah, it's probably one of the lowest grossing trilogies ever made.
That's understandable. Not from it was bad, but also with a 9-year gap. A lot of people probably weren't sitting there going, I hope they wait 9 years.
Okay, genuinely, I would implore you to try the second... Let me
Does
say,
it get better?
The second film is only 80 minutes long. So even if you don't like it, it's a little over an hour of your time you're giving to it.
Yeah, but I've got Mass Effect to play.
I know, but Jack, I would be very curious for your thoughts on the second film. Because
Tell me honestly,
is
it better than this film?
I don't personally think it is. However, what I find interesting is, so if you look at the three films in total, I think depending on what your preference of those three films are, says a lot about who you are.
Right.
So Mark, for example, who I often point to when it comes to film things, because I consider him as not necessarily an expert, but as damn close to an expert as you'll get when it comes to films.
Is he like you are to me?
Yeah.
To you?
Yeah.
Okay, got you.
Exactly. His favourite is the second film, if I'm remembering rightly.
Okay.
And, I would wonder if you would have that preference as well, because I think the first film, right, is very much a romantic... I love, and it's one of the things I like about mumblecore, is watching these characters figure each other out, okay? Obviously, with the second film, it's the same characters, so you don't necessarily have that figuring out. And it's a bit more, without spoiling too much, there's a bit, like a little drop of bitterness in it.
Okay.
And that sort of warps slightly the relationship between the two characters. And again, I'm trying to be very careful with what I say, because I don't want to give any spoilers, because what you maybe think has happened in the 9 years that passed hasn't necessarily happened.
Okay.
So let's remove ourselves from, Before Sunset. Just I would very much ask of you to just give it a go.
Fine, maybe.
And if you turn around and you say I hated Before Sunset, I would 100% recommend you do not watch Before Midnight.
Okay.
But back to Before Sunrise.
Yeah, I want to be clear. I didn't hate this film.
Yeah. Okay, let's start then. What did you like about it?
I want to be clear, Liam.
Yeah.
I didn't hate this film.
Yeah. So
I didn't like a lot of this film either. Oh, I don't know, mate. Like, I liked the main female character, Celine.
Celine, yeah.
She was fine.
Did you not find yourself, like, falling for her a little bit yourself? No? Just me?
How do you mean? Like,
I
didn't.
There's
and
a
do you want to
couple
know
of
why?
scenes that I can point to that I'm just like, I just loved. Go on, tell me why.
I took, again, one of my issues, I think it's weird, because the issues that I have with these sort of films
Yeah.
are issues that I think, from what we talk about on this show,
Yeah.
they are the issues that I think people would think you had
Right.
with this sort of thing. So you, traditionally on this show, have hated teenagers and sort of young adults for some of the bullshit they do.
Wait.
Right?
Oh, what, like in real life?
Yeah, in real life, you're like, oh, teenagers, God.
Yeah, but I love
children,
coming-of-age films.
Young adults who are arrogant and young. I'm 30 and I'm gonna.
Well, fuck off! I'm not 30, dickhead.
I'm 29.
Yeah.
Sorry, Liam. Anyway,
Yeah,
like
30.
I hated. Right, it honestly annoys me.
Yeah.
And I do it. So that listeners just gives you a look into how I think about myself.
Okay.
But when people have these like deep in air quotes philosophical discussions.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just like, especially when it's sort of done in this like, I can't believe I'm the only person to think of this. I think that's what it is I've had the thoughts that he's, telling her all these deep, I can't even fucking remember some of the examples. Oh, what does he say? He's like, when he's like, there's something about the population of the planet. Oh, do you believe in reincarnation?
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, I do. Like, real casually, yes, I do. Oh, okay, sorry. Is that just sort of established that we're all very casual about reincarnation? Fine.
Yeah.
I'll accept that, whatever.
Yeah.
But then he's like, yeah, so if there's 10,000, if we started with 2 million souls, and then a few, years later there were 1 million souls, and then now there's between 5 and 7 billion souls, where did all the souls come from? Like, and you're sitting there, and I'm like, you know what, mate? That's not smart, because the people that genuinely believe in reincarnation, and, like, religiously believe in it, would say to you, well, either those souls weren't created, or there were always those souls, they were just waiting for bodies, or perhaps those souls were animals, which they believe in some, I think, Buddhism believes that there's, you can actually be an animal for part of your, your soul can be an animal. So there's answers, Liam. So it's not a smart question, but he pretends it is. And later on he calls himself out on it, Liam, and he says, oh, I've heard all my pretend smart things before. And I was like, you arrogant dick, chill out.
Can I interject with a very slight, like, off-topic thing that I should have mentioned in catching up with, but I forgot?
Yeah, go for it.
Right, my favourite moment from Mother's Day yesterday, we were out, I was out with my mum, and I was trying on some walking shoes, okay?
Yeah.
And a guy...
You had a fun Mother's Day.
Huh?
Nothing, carry on.
I had a guy who was helping me with this. Really friendly guy, real helpful. The issue is, I apparently have, like, quite narrow, shallow feet.
Oh, you have I have wide feet.
And apparently I always have trouble like buying shoes, and I think this might be why. And so this guy was like, I like to get things right on the second try. We were on like the 5th shoe at this point, and he was getting kind of like he was fretting, okay, because he clearly cared.
Did he?
Yeah, like he genuinely.
Why?
I don't know. But then there was a fly buzzing around, right, and it landed in front of my mum, and she stomped on it. And he looked at it, and he looked at her, and he had like the saddest look on his face. And he went, "Did you just kill that fly?" And she went, "No, my foot slipped." And he went, "No, it didn't. You just stomped on that fly." And she went, "Yeah." And his face was honestly crestfallen. And he went, "I'm a Buddhist. I don't believe in that sort of thing." And my mum's response was, "Well, you can try and give it mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, but I don't think it'll work."
Oh, I'm starting to see why you're a dickhead.
And genuinely, I was trying not to laugh.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like he was. Like, at one point, I genuinely thought he was going to do some sort of like funeral ceremony for this fly.
I mean,
he just seemed so
understand
upset.
him. I'm not a Buddhist, but I don't kill things if I don't have to.
Yeah, well, my mum don't give a fuck.
Yeah, apparently not. Your mum just stomps the life out of everything.
I know, and I was just like, this guy was being so helpful. And it's like,
and then your mum just like
the worst thing you could have possibly done to thank him for it. Anyway, that should have gone in Catching Up With. That would have been quite a good little, instead of my boring nothingness that happened.
Yeah, what a good story that was. You idiot.
Well, this just goes to show, right? If people only listen for Catching Up With and they don't listen to the rest of the episode, they've just missed out on a nugget.
Exactly.
Back to Before Sunrise.
Yeah, I was having issues with the suit. The like we're smart people, but we're not really.
Yeah, no, I get.
Go on.
Right,
rebut me.
I'm not rebuting. I get what you're saying.
Okay.
But like you said, you've had those thoughts. I think those thoughts. The reason why the film works is because we've some of us we've been that age. We've had those thoughts ourselves, and we know.
Wait, what were you saying? How old are they meant to be?
No. So you're like that age, right?
How old are they?
24.
So yeah, I'm like
around
1
that
year
age.
older than them.
Yeah, exactly. But equally, I think so. Those that have gone past that age can look back and go, "Oh, he's acting like the dickhead that I was acting like at that age." But at that age, it felt so earnest.
No. See, those thoughts don't make you a dickhead. Having that conversation in the way that he had it, is what makes him a dickhead.
Yeah, but I'll be honest. I much preferred her character to his. I still liked his character.
Yeah.
But that's just, and again, I don't know if that's necessarily a gender thing. Watching the film, I would be very curious to see a female perspective on this film. I tried to get Kat to watch it to provide that.
Why would gender change the way you think about someone?
Because I wonder if
I didn't watch this film, Liam, and just spend the entire time being like, I would love to marry Celine.
No, but that's not what I'm saying. So for someone like me and you, right, we watch this. It's a lot easier for us to put ourselves in his shoes than hers. Because let's be honest, we're not going to have a guy come up to us on the train, most likely, and ask to spend the night walking around Vienna with him.
Incorrect. I have had a man come up to me on a train and offer me a bar of chocolate once. So he was also homeless, and I think thought I was homeless. So I've had this experience, Liam.
Have you, though?
Yeah, he gave me that bar of chocolate, and I got the fuck off the train and threw it in a bin in case he'd poisoned it.
Right, but so that wasn't really romantic then. But do you see what I'm saying? It
might have been to him.
It's easier for us to put ourselves in his place than hers.
Sure.
And I honestly, for a woman, she might equally find it easier to put herself in his than hers. But I would just be curious if that is the case and if that would affect your reading of the film.
But I think you'd still think this guy was a dickhead.
100% possibly, but for me...
I mean, she's also a dickhead.
The reason why I love this film is I just enjoyed spending time with these two characters. Like, yeah, they're not perfect, they're not the most likeable, they're not the most funny, but I enjoyed seeing them. The way their like friendship, relationship evolved over the course of the film, that awkward like first stages to that like there's a scene that Kat said was really annoying, but I actually really like, where they're in a listening booth listening to a song, and they're both
doing the like glances. Yeah,
like we've been there. We can relate to that. It might be annoying to watch it.
Did you and Kat sit in a listening booth at a record shop?
Nah.
No, you didn't.
Not exactly.
You just grinded all up on her at a club. And I know that, because I was there.
And she loved it. Obviously.
Clearly.
Alright, so maybe my experiences weren't as romantic. Doesn't mean in my head they weren't. In my head, we was in a listening booth, grinding.
Got you.
But like, so that awkwardness, then the first kiss, which is just so awkward. So incredibly awkward. But I could relate to that. Yeah. Because I had a...
But here's the... So here's the thing then. Like, this isn't me having to go at you or the film. This is... I'm going into my... We've both clearly got different views on this.
Yeah.
So I genuinely want to understand, right?
Yes.
Is it because it's the same reason that you liked Mumblecore and I don't like Mumblecore, right?
Yeah.
I don't like the idea of spending an hour and 40 minutes watching someone else have a regular experience. Like, the reason I prefer sci-fi and fantasy films is it's escapism. I'm escaping into this fictitious world that's full of awesomeness and coolness. Yeah. Like, I even like romantic films if they're not like just the boring day-to-day life of someone. I mean, the day these two have isn't hugely boring, which is why I didn't hate this film as much as Mumblecore.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't understand how people can want to watch just a regular thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, and clearly you do, so I want to understand why you want to see that, because I don't.
It's interesting. It's an interesting question. And I see where you're coming. Right. I don't know the exact answer. I've never, like, self-analysed myself to try and figure that out, because I think it would be scary.
Nope. Yeah,
but one potential reason, as someone who does watch a lot of films, it could be it's a nice, refreshing break from all of the escapism.
You're escaping from the escapism.
Yeah, with a little slice of reality.
Yeah.
The other thing I like is and this applies to Mumblecore. I would like it to apply to this, but maybe not. I like the relatability to it, because you think even in like escapist films, they always try to have a character that the audience can relate somewhat to. That's why there's always these issues about diversity, because essentially, you know, you want the audience to be able to relate, and you want a wide audience to relate. So I guess, like, especially with Mumblecore, you think a lot of Mumblecore is about the post college lifestyle, trying to figure out your place in the world, get a job, etc., etc. Relatable. This to me is a little bit more like fantasy, in all honesty.
Yes, because it's more unreal. Like, this wouldn't happen to me and you.
But equally, I love the idea. And here we go. Let's do a massive like circle and tie everything in nicely together. You were saying, what should we do together on weekends?
I'm not going to meet you on a train and then ask you to walk around for a night with me.
No, but we could go on a train. Like, I like the idea of going on a train into Europe somewhere and just seeing who we might meet.
Yeah, but the issue is I know what me and you are like. We wouldn't meet anyone. We'd get on the train, Liam. We'd go to Paris.
Yeah.
We'd get coffee in a coffee shop, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
And then we'd wander around Paris not talking to anyone.
Yeah, but that would still be romantic.
I don't want to have a romantic weekend with you.
Why not?
I mean, it'd be funny to film, so maybe.
Exactly. There we go. That's one of the things we should do one weekend.
Okay, I'm in.
Awesome. That was the whole reason why I wanted to get you to watch this film, so I could pitch that idea and get you on board.
Fair enough. It's worked.
Yeah. But no, genuinely, I just, like, okay, I wouldn't say I loved the characters, but I loved seeing the characters together and seeing that relationship develop. That's where I derived the fun of it. My absolute favourite scene from it, and the moment where, you know how I've said in the past, like, you wait for a moment where the film just clicks for you and you kind of go, right, yeah, I do love this film.
Yep.
That moment for me is the scene where they're in like a pub, I think it is, a sort of pub place, and they're doing the pretend phone calls. Like, they're pretending to ring back to someone back home to explain, you know, where they are. Yeah.
Why
loved
they're
that
late.
scene. Absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
And that was a scene where, especially with Celine, like Julie Delpy's character, I was like, oh, I love her. She's amazing. I want to meet her on a train. Sorry, Kat.
Got you.
But yeah, honestly though, try Before Sunset.
Yeah, maybe. I'm just worried that it's going to be more of the same and you're not going to like the fact that I don't like it.
I don't... Like I said, I thought it would go one of two ways with you liking this or not liking it. And while I am disappointed, I'm not surprised.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. What I'm most worried about with the way things like this portray me is, it's like how you complain that when I suggest anime and stuff, you're like, well, you've shown me all these shit ones that I don't like.
Yeah.
Right? But you haven't fully given up on the idea of anime. You've just you've decided that it's because my taste in anime isn't yours, right?
Yes, exactly.
That's what I think I'm also worried about is, like, I love rom-coms and romantic films and stuff like that. But the ones that you have picked so far in Nerd on Nerd tend to have been more on the mumblecore side, right?
Yeah.
Like, we've not really done a rom-com, I don't think. Like
no.
a traditional style one.
Not really.
But, like, so I'm then worried that portrays me in, like, this, like, oh, Jack only loves the alien films and fantasy films. When in reality, I like a lot of films. It's just that I don't like these sort of films.
Yeah, and I think this is a good way to be like I said, this is definitely, you can see Mumblecore drawing its roots from this.
Yeah.
But if you don't like this, obviously you're not going to like Mumblecore.
But then I liked Jeff in Real Life, or whatever it was called.
Jeff Who Lives at Home.
That's the one.
Okay, but that's the thing about Mumblecore, right? Is essentially it's a bad description for a movement of films. So while there are like a collective group that are very talky and very like relationships and stuff, There are
Yeah.
others that are like Jeffrey Lives at Home that are like drinking buddies, which is one that I do think you would like. If we were to do another Mumblecore in the future, that's the one I'd suggest we do. Okay. Your Sister's Sister is another Mumblecore that it has more plot to it, which is, I think, what you're wanting out of these.
Yeah, that's true. I do like story.
Yeah, whereas I'm quite happy to have like a movie that's an hour 30, hour 40 that just puts plot to one side and just focuses on characters.
Just watching. Yeah, there's like not story arcs per se. It's more like
and equally
there is development, which is so there's like the character development
that
happens. Obviously, their relationship changes and grows and whatever.
Yeah, and I think that's the key thing about this film and this trilogy is it is all about change. So that's, I think, why it's so interesting that the sequel is 9 years later, and those 9 years have passed in real time. So the actors are 9 years on. They've obviously, worked together 9 years ago. So in the fabric of the sequel, you have history built into it, which is why I think it's so interesting to look at from that sort of perspective. Because it is...
I genuinely find that idea fascinating, like leaving 9 years between the shooting of the film to actually make it... Like that to me is interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
I just wish it had been an Alien film, Liam.
Well, that's the thing. Imagine, right? They could have turned this film around, okay? At the end, Celine could have looked at Jessie and she'd gone, I'm a ex-Solomilla from planet Numa. Yep. And you'd be like, what? Amazing.
Yeah, that would have blown my mind.
Yeah, but no.
They went for the boring old, she's a regular human being.
Exactly. But, if we ever make a Mumblecore, Jack, maybe that's our differentiate.
Have there ever been any Mumblecore, like, sci-fi films?
Yes, there was one I watched not too long ago called Mars.
Okay.
It was really annoying in that they rotoscoped the whole thing, and they really didn't need to.
Yeah.
So it was bloody annoying to watch, but it was, basically about two people on a space mission to Mars falling in love.
Got you. Okay.
As a Mumblecore is, bound to be.
Yeah. Is that, do you have anything you want to say about Before Sunrise?
Has hearing my thoughts on it, like, do you understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah, I do genuinely get more. I think in this conversation, as opposed to our last, like, Mumblecore one, I sort of understand more where you're coming from with your, like, joy. And to be fair, watching this film, I was watching and I was like, I can see why Liam likes this film.
Okay.
Like,
it's just not for you.
It's just that I wanted to understand more. Yeah, it's not for me, and I wanted to fully understand why. Like, I knew that you would like it, but, like, I couldn't figure out what it was that meant that. Do you know what I mean?
How did this compare to 50 Shades of Grey?
This is better than 50 Shades of Grey.
Okay, well, that's a start.
I mean, yeah. It was, like I said, I've sounded more like I really hated this film, but I didn't.
Yeah.
I wasn't sitting there bored the whole time. I was just sort of indifferent the whole time.
Okay. Well,
whereas with 50 Shades, I was aware that I didn't like it, and with Blue is the Warmest Colour in the Mumblecore film,
mutual appreciation.
Like, that's it, mutual appreciation. With both of those two, I was like, oh god, what am I watching? Yeah. So I didn't have that, so that's a positive.
That's good. Out of 5?
I think 2.5.
Okay.
Perfectly average.
I would give it 4.5 out of 5.
Yeah.
Which, like I said, it is not a perfect film, but it's perfect enough.
Yeah, and it's right up your street.
Yeah. Like, imagine...
I can see why.
If you'd have gone to the cinema and this was on, well, you wouldn't have liked it. You'd have been like, Liam needs to go and see this.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And that's the thing about this podcast. We both come from different perspectives with different tastes. Sometimes they work in unison, sometimes they don't.
And sometimes when they don't, we discuss it reasonably and come to understand each other's views, and sometimes we just fall out.
Yeah, surprisingly, that's not what we've done this time.
It's weird, isn't it? I think I'm more willing to talk to you about it if I don't hate it.
Yeah, that's the
thing. If I hate it, I'm then like, why would you like this? Whereas if I'm indifferent, I'm like, I'd like to know why you liked it.
Exactly, and that's the thing. Our conversations tend to go by what mood you're in.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, if you're in a very argumentative mood, then we're going to have a big argument. If you're more reasonable and mature about it, it goes fine.
Sometimes it's good to have an argument, Liam.
Yeah, but sometimes it's good to have a nice, healthy discussion.
Well, I know that this is one of the films you like, not one of your favourite films necessarily. One of the films you really like. I didn't want to fall out over it.
Well, I'm fucking livid at Kat falling asleep during it, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I started watching it and I was like, there was a bit where I was like, I can sort of see why Kat fell asleep, but not a lot. like it started then, and like getting really into it, and I was like, oh, I'd have struggled to fall asleep.
Yeah. I honestly, like, if anyone's listening and they like this film, and, you know, you like me, I might be in the market, especially after she hears this episode.
Did she say, out of interest, what moment did she start falling asleep?
It was after the listening booth. I think after the listening booth, before the Ferris wheel, the first kiss.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Not
ideal, to be honest.
No.
Can I ask what? So obviously you haven't read into what happens next. You're not aware.
Nope.
I have two questions. One, do you think they had sex? And two, what do you think happens next? Because one of the things that I loved when I first read about this film, before I looked into the sequels, is the director said that him and the cast kind of intended this film, before they knew they would make any others, as like a romantic litmus test. It was like, if you're really romantic, then yeah, you think that there's going to be in the future a romantic ending. If you're a bit more pessimistic, then you have a very different take on what would happen next.
Well, when it first finished,
yeah,
I was like, okay, so assumedly they meet up 1 year from now, and then the sort of sequel one will be, maybe they'd have met up, but it didn't work out or something. But then after a while, I was then like, I wonder if they would do the story of he doesn't go or she doesn't go, like they meet someone else in the year or 6 months, sorry.
Yeah.
Which I think would be quite an interesting one. And then, like, I don't know how they would then meet up 9 years later.
Okay.
I also didn't think they had sex, but now that you've said that, I'm like, oh, maybe she gets pregnant and they have a kid, and then he turns up 9 years later and is like, I have a child.
That'd be interesting. Well, there's only one way to find out these answers, Jack.
And that is to Google it.
No, just watch. It's 80 minutes. It's so quick.
Yeah, but imagine how quick it would be if I Googled it.
But it wouldn't be as good, though, would it?
Seconds.
It wouldn't be as good.
No, I will watch it. I don't know when, but I will watch it. I might wait 9 years, Liam.
We can discuss it on housekeeping.
I'll wait for 9 years. When the podcast's big, we'll do before sunset.
Fucking hell. I think that's it.
Fair enough.
So what are we doing next time?
Oh, yeah. Next time, Liam, we are going to be doing Horizon Zero Dawn.
Which we both played. Well, you played a lot of and I played a little of.
I've played a lot of because I've been off this week.
Yeah. I've played a little bit.
Liam's played a bit of, but he's going to play some more. He's been stuck playing another game that we will not mention. I might beep that out.
I got my Gwent trophy at last, Jack. Why don't you let me just tell people that?
I'm so proud of you.
Like,
I'm so proud.
I'm sure our listeners are like, when the fuck is he going to get that trophy? And now they're not.
I don't think they care.
Did you say that, right? But this shocked me. On Twitter, when I tweeted from my personal account about playing Horizon Zero Dawn, I actually got a response from one of your friends, Sam, I think it was.
Okay.
Here we go. Sam Pryor. Is that one of your friends?
Yep, that's Sam.
Tweeted me. Well, no, sorry. He tweeted saying, thought I'd treat myself and brought Horizon Zero Dawn. It's like an epic game. And I responded saying, it's a lot of fun. And then his response was, you finished The Witcher then?
I don't think that was him being supportive and caring, though, Liam.
No, people clearly care if I've finished The Witcher or not.
I don't... No. See, now I know Sam.
Yeah?
He listens occasionally. I don't know if he listens to every episode. So if you are Sam, then hello.
Thank you.
Good to speak to you again. He's kind of a sarky dickhead.
Yeah.
Bit like me, sometimes.
Yeah.
And I think what he's doing there, Liam, is sort of joining in the running joke that I have with you, which is, please, dear God, stop playing The Witcher 3. There are so many other games for you to play.
I think he's been very supportive.
Okay, well, Sam, let us know. Although he now might, just to be a dick to me,
well, fingers crossed,
say that he's supporting you.
And he might be livid that you've put this rule in that I'm not allowed to talk about it anymore.
Whatever. Well, Sam's going to guest on our show at some point, so
yeah,
you can ask him then.
Well, we have a lot of guests that we want on the show. It's just us being organised enough to do that, and me having internet.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Because at the moment, this is not an ideal recording setup, is it?
No.
But look, we make do, alright? We don't want people going without.
It's true. We're dedicated to giving you guys the best free content we can. So, Liam.
Yeah.
How can people get in contact with us?
They can tweet us at nerdonnerd. They can email us, nerdonnerdpod@gmail.com. They could Facebook us if you go to facebook.com/nerd.
Nerd on nerd.
Is this the one with the dashes in it or no?
No, it hasn't got the dashes. It's just Nerd on Nerd Pod, all one word.
Do that if you want to message us on Facebook. You can YouTube us. If you search Nerd on Nerd, it might come up. Try it like Nerd on Nerd 3 words, then try it all as one word, and then as a last resort, try Nerd on Nerd Fleshlight.
I like the fact that to get us on YouTube, you have to have 3 attempts. And they get a little bit worse each time.
If you follow us on Twitter when I have internet back, I'll be posting our YouTube videos on there as they go up, so you could find our channel from that.
Yeah, the YouTube is a little bit behind at the moment because our video editor Supreme hasn't had internet.
Yeah, which makes life difficult. The thing is, as well, the more subscribers we get on YouTube, the easier it will be to find us. So help your fellow listeners out. We need, I think, when I last checked, it was like 200 subscribers to get a custom URL.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it was a low number.
They changed it.
Oh, good lord.
So help your fellow listeners out and help us out.
Tell 200 of your friends to subscribe to us.
Create 200 dummy... No, that's probably not going to help our rankings.
Well, don't do that.
No. You could leave us a review on iTunes if you wanted.
Yep. 5 stars preferably. 4 stars we'll accept. Anything lower than that, Liam might cry.
Yeah. That's about it.
I think that is. Any final thoughts, Liam?
I'm looking forward to us spending more weekends together on like romantic getaway. Maybe like a nice spa weekend or something.
Bye.
Bye.